Hey. So before I kick it off, the reason we did that point of view video, Andy, is because who the hell knows when you're going to ride the Flash?
That was great.
Now you feel like you rode it.
I don't go on a roller coaster anymore.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Hello. Welcome to episode number 30 of Some Great Adventures, the podcast for old friends who worked at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey, chat about our days in the park, as well as the amusement and theme park industry in general. As usual, our podcast is made possible by our friends at the Shared Universe Podcast Studio, and the mighty Ming Chen is running it today. I am Steve Hicks, and my co-hosts are
Scott Loudon,
Chris Peluso,
Andy Auletti.
All right, boys, it's been a while, but damn good to see all you guys. As we were talking about before we launched, people are probably wondering, did they stop? Are they done? Did they just give up?
We'll never be done.
We'll never be done, but there just really wasn't anything to talk about. Like, it was a very quiet winter. I mean, there's a lot of parks ramping up to open, like the Epic Universe and Universal Horror in Vegas, but as far as Great Adventure goes, I mean, not a lot. We have a little bit of news, but otherwise, yeah, it's been a pretty quiet winter. So, but Scotty and I were at GA this past week. We did ride the back of the Flash ride that you all just got to see and experience. So what is the Flash ride? It's a vertical velocity super boomerang coaster. It propels you up to 60 miles per hour aboard an intricately designed train inspired by the Flash's stuff in a race, no other launching both forward and backward. You'll ascend a towering 172 feet before speeding off into gravity. You turn upside down, nearly 100 feet off the ground. Feel the rush as you zoom through it. 180-degree twist, drop, followed by a zero-G roll, leads you to the end of the track. That's not all. Then suddenly you do it all again backwards. It sounds amazing.
I don't want to say anything until I don't want to shit on it.
It looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
well, we went on it, and we did ride the back because I was so basically. I followed all the reviews I saw from people that were at the park the last couple of weeks since it opened, and everyone said the back is the best. So when we got up there, we lucked out. We went last Wednesday, and it's spring break week, and it was there was one buyout, a small Jewish buyout, but otherwise it was empty. It was beautiful. It came off of really bad weather. It was cold and windy, so the park was literally dead empty. We could walk up every coaster we wanted, and the Flash is right there. When you walk in the front gate, it's right there to your right. You can't miss it. So you walk around, just walk around where Keyhole Photo used to be, and
right by the Blue Parrot.
Yeah, you're kind of, well, not that far, but yeah, yeah. Basically, the Flash Cyborg was.
Okay.
Yeah, Cyborg Spin is the Flash now, so it's kind of between front gate and the Fest. When you walk into the queue line, you're actually looking at the Fest House on your left. We walked right up. We got right on. We only had like 2.5 hours in the park, so we wanted to like see what other changes were there. So we didn't go on a bunch. Scott and his daughter went on again at the end.
Yeah, we rode the front.
Did you ride the front?
Yeah.
Was it any better?
I liked the front because you could see everything going on.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it was a little slower than the back.
Oh. So, all right, I'll let you give your review first. What did you think of it overall?
I mean, it was a cool ride. I mean, we didn't have to wait a minute to get on the thing. So given that, it was great. Like,
True.
But, I mean, the ride set up, you only have one train, so there's not a lot of throughput on it. So on a busy day when there's a queue line, that's going to be a long wait for a what was it, 1 minute and 2 second ride?
Yeah, that was the other point of showing that video. The ride basically runs a minute. You watch the whole ride. That was a 1.09 video, and that is about the time of the ride. And to Scott's point, it's a one-track ride, one train ride. There's no way to run 2 trains on it.
Right.
So the throughput's pretty low. Danny Benetti, friend of a podcast, friend of ours, I think he said in a post that he posted this week that there was only he talked to an operator and they have a throughput of 500 people an hour or something. It was really freaking low. And for a new ride that's replacing 9 rides, and mind you, I understand it was supposed to be there last year, but it wasn't, and it is their new ride for this year, so technically it is the new ride replacing 9 rides with that low of a throughput.
To me,
Kill your rides per guest.
Yeah.
I had a small kitchen in my old house, and so I'm familiar with going to IKEA, where they have some really nice kitchens, and they'll show you how to make something work in a real small square footage for very little money. You know what I mean? But that's what it strikes me as. Hey, you don't have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of space. Here's what you can do, but it's not that great. You know what I mean? I admire the efficiency of it. It doesn't launch you that hard. Probably doesn't cost that much to launch then. Uses momentum and the launch, And yeah, you're going to go backwards because we don't have any space and we don't want to spend the money on the track. So, that's what it
reminded me
how you can fit this beautiful kitchen in this 200 square feet. Case may be, $4,000.
Right.
Very budget conscious coaster.
It reminded me of that coaster, and I forget the name of it, down in Maurice Pier, down in Wildwood.
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of it. I know exactly
years
what you're
ago.
talking about.
I don't even know if it's there anymore, but it would launch you back like that and then back through the station, and that's kind of cool though. I do like how the train goes back through the station like that.
Yeah,
it was cool how it had a vertical ending to send you backwards. Remember back in the day, the Batman and Robin the Chiller ride? It didn't have that vertical. It had a ramp that they went up.
Right.
So it would have been cooler if the Batman and Robin the Chiller went vertical too. But
yeah. Andy, you nailed a comment that Scott's daughter Alyssa said too. So we were talking about it when we got off of it, and look, it's a good ride. Don't get me wrong. Is it a good ride for any wait over 30 minutes? Fuck no.
Right.
No, absolutely not.
On Thursday.
I couldn't.
It just had a 90-minute wait on Thursday. See, that I would never. Honestly, I even said this. I go, if I waited over 30 minutes for this ride, I'd be pissed off because you're on and off so fast. And then Alyssa said exactly what you said, Andy. I feel like I rode this ride before. She's like, this feels like something I've already ridden. And she's not a big ride person technically. She's just starting to get into amusement park stuff. And that was her first comment. And that's exactly how I felt. I'm like, this is a solid ride. It is smooth. It's fun. It does not feel that fast. The name is horribly ironic because it is not the fucking.
I was just gonna say it is called the Flash. And
it is
so
not.
It was kind of slow.
Think about it. You said it's a minute and how long, Steve?
1.09 seconds.
So 1.09 seconds. Figure it's got to be a 4 to 5 minute cycle time though, as far as loading, unloading, and running it. So you're getting 12, 13 runs an hour.
Yeah.
And
that's
was it hold 30
speed.
Something people? I mean, I don't know how many seats were on
Andy,
it.
That's at our speed. You should have seen that Medusa loading. Oh my God, they might be getting 7 an hour. I don't know. There was no pep in their step. There was no flash. It was wow, they didn't care. They just didn't. There was no emphasis on it at all. It was just you get them on there when you get them on there, and you send it when they're on. That's all it was.
This ride actually only was operated by a crew of 2 people. So
it operates like a flat ride.
Wow. The operator comes out and checks the one side, and the attendant checks the other side, and off you go. So the one thing that was cool when we rode the front of the train, we saw the operator's panel, and they actually have a big monitor screen in front of him.
Oh, that's badass.
Or her, and there was a guy at this time, and it actually had an AI tool where it was, when you were walking through that middle part of the queue line, where it had kind of like a theming or whatever.
Yep.
It actually had an AI tool where it was checking. It looked like it was checking everybody's heights as they
walked. Oh, that's fucking sweet.
And it was like showing like a green box around them if they were good. I didn't see anybody too short, so I didn't see.
Why didn't you sneak your camera out and take a picture?
I thought about it, but I mean, I'm assuming that's what it was. But I'm like, well, how would that work on a busy day when the queue line's full? It's not going to be able to tell how tall you are.
That's true.
But I don't know. So
I'm sure they can also use it for really accurate wait times too, because with the facial recognition, they can tell when someone got on the line, got on the ride.
That's true.
true.
Yeah.
That is true. I mean, at the end of the day, is it a bad ride? No. Is it worthy of being the replacement ride for 9 other rides? No. Is it going to help them in throughput? No.
Yeah,
I
couldn't afford the IKEA kitchen. I would have taken it, but I wouldn't have paid 25 grand for it though either. You know, I couldn't afford the $5 grand for it, but I also wasn't going to pay 20 for it. You know, so
True.
Yeah. So like you said, if you had to wait for it, ooh, and it's not replacing 9 rides.
I mean, the one thing I will say is I do like that when we go back this year, it's right there at front gate, so everyone will go to it who hasn't been on it. So it's going to alleviate the pressure of the very few remaining rides that we want to ride. You know what I mean? Like, so you get that. You know what I mean? At least it's going to pull some people and keep them in the front gate area while you go do what you want to do. You know? Yeah. But overall, yeah, a little disappointing there.
And Queenan's there all the time. He said the same thing. They don't care about throughput anymore.
They do not.
So apparent. It was like the furthest thing from them. I think they would have been like throughput if you said it to them. I don't even know if they would know capacity. I don't know. It was just so foreign. You could tell it was foreign. They had no idea.
I think at this point they are so hurting for staffing that they worry more about even keeping rides open than running multiple trains, and they know they don't have the staff to run multiple trains. That's what it feels like. I'm not there. I don't know, but that's what it feels like.
We didn't walk.
It seems their new philosophy is just to charge more and bring less people in.
Yeah.
You know, so they want smaller crowds.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, hopefully that is part of their plan, because at the other end of the day, that's what they're going to get. Their attendance has to be dismal at this point. I mean, I follow a lot of Facebook groups and a lot of other social media groups that talk specifically about our park, as well as other parks, but I focus on Great Adventure, and let's take it with a grain of salt, because the internet is more pissy people than happy people. Yeah. But I will say these are people devoted to the park, and a lot of these groups are devoted to people who like the park. And yet the last 2 years, it went from being groups that loved it to 99% people bitching about it all the time. And that's all it is now. It's like a bitch fest constantly. You'll see like one happy email, one happy post for every 20 shit posts. And the problem is when you read the shit posts, a lot of times, you feel like it's just internet, anonymous bullying, right? But it's not. The stuff they say, it's all valid. Like, it's completely valid. Like, and that's just disappointing, I said to Scott, and so I'm going to share my screen. When we went, we took some photos. We'll go through them real quick. We'll do a quick walkthrough of what the park looks like now. The one thing I said to Scott that makes me sad is that this is the first time I went to the park. Scott and his daughter were a little bit late getting there, so I sat at the front gate and I waited for them. And I realized from that moment to the moment I left, we were there for 2.5 hours. It's not my park anymore. Like, the nostalgia value I used to have when I went there is almost non-existent. The only time I got hit with any nostalgia is honestly when we went to the Western section, and that's only because there's still a couple rides left.
Everything Batman and West. That was the only two.
And Batman too, but
ones.
Here's even worse. Batman's nostalgia only holds solid for me because of me and you. Right. Because we used to fucking do those test rides in the morning we weren't supposed to do and fuck with each other. And we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun on that ride. It made it fun. And because when I was a 160 soup, we'd all hang out in the Batman shed, more than the Rapids fucking shed. You know what I mean? So it became the hangout spot. But outside of that, man, like, everything we love and everything that we cared about is gone. Yeah. It is a concrete park. Yeah. It is like, and you'll see it when I start sharing the photos, man. It is a concrete park. It is kind of sad. It kind of bummed me out a little bit, man. But give me a second. Of course, it's not going to bring my window up now.
Yeah. Oh, and I looked up that Powerade too. I still don't get it. $8 for a Powerade. Disney World, I was pretty sure $4.50 is what it was at the same time. I think it might have gone up to $5. And Disney World, you all know, they get hit hard for their cost, right?
Yeah.
They're known as one of the most expensive places in the world. You're charging almost double what they're charging at Six Flags. Are you crazy?
Yeah, the prices are a little fucking wild.
What are they doing? Yeah,
it's true. The prices are pretty bad.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. The GA Bush is still there. Looks pretty. So we start with that, and the Six Flags. It's all pretty.
They do look great. Yeah.
Look at this shit. This is me sitting on the bench right in front of guest services to the right. This is so much fucking concrete and empty wide space. It's insane. I don't know if you guys can see my cursor, but over to the left where the exit turnstiles are, they're gone. This is a good improvement. The turnstiles are fully gone. It is just an open gate with a security guard there, and that's it. When you leave, you leave. They don't block you. There's nothing. You don't have to crack your nuts against that bar anymore. Yeah. That's kind of an improvement I like, so that was a good one. This spot right here in the center is new. They put this very pretty planner with the logo and with all the figures. That is actually super cool, and it's got benches around it, so you could chill there too. When you go past the next gift shop, they put a mini planner in with more of them, and then there's a fountain behind it. So those are improvements. I like those. I think that looks nice. They need more of that. They need more prettying of the park. You know what I mean? So those are kind of cool. We went over, this is the flash information. We went over and we wrote it. This is exactly where Cyborg Spin used to be. That is where the flash is now. That's where your entrance is.
Basically where Cyborg
is. Yeah. So, not a bad ride. I'm not going to go in any more detail. We already gave it. Theming-wise, I mean, there's not a ton of theming, but they did do the Star Labs thing, which is where the Flash was, Barry Allen and all that. So that's kind of cool. Okay. This just killed me. This fucking killed me. We went along face. Yeah, dude. Instead of replacing the jaw, they just put a big old black cloth there, and I'm like, it works.
And it was blowing in the breeze.
It was blowing in the breeze.
It's tongue. It's a new tongue.
Tongue. Yeah.
New for 2025 Skull Mountain tongue.
That shit made me laugh so hard. I could not stop laughing. I was like, Jesus Christ. This ride just never gets respect, man. But wait, here's where this is really the sad spot. That's the Dream Street cables behind Scott, boys. That's it. It's fucking gone. It is gone.
It's almost like they made the decision to get rid of it, and they were like, we're going to rip out Dream Street before they have a chance to change their mind. And they just I thought they have the station still there, the concrete. They jackhammered everything out and took it away.
It is gone. And I don't know if you guys could see the comments, but I felt bad when I posted it because I knew Robbie Von Roll was not going to be happy, and he's not, and I don't blame him, man. I mean, like, other parks are reconditioning and replacing towers. So it could have been done. But I also understand, I mean, they're a part of a merger, and they're going to be given a very specific budget, and it's not going to all apply to this one park out of what, they're 42 or 47 parks. I have the number. I'll talk about it later in the news. But, like, obviously they're not budgeted to replace it. I mean, obviously, once you do a merger like this, the budget gets cut, and they try to, eliminate extra spend, and that was probably one of the extra spends. But for us, Jesus, man, like, they didn't even leave the cement. It is literally grounded. It's down to the ground with just some red gravel put over it. Yeah. Fucking sad. Really sad.
The western side, they left the fort. Hopefully they'll do something with that.
Yeah, so then we continue on. The fort is still there.
Do something with the fort. The fort's badass. Like,
fort's badass. Well, here's the other thing. To remove the fort, you got to fuck with the mine train.
Yeah.
So I hope that's not on the plans in the future, because otherwise let's be honest. If you remove this, you've removed the West. This the West is all that's left, and that coincides with this building. Yeah. So hopefully this does not get taken down. But
that was the original park, right?
Yes, this is original park stuff, and there's not a lot of it left. So, however, if you look, everything's gutted. There's nothing in there except the nets. Hey! Those wonderful nets will never go away, apparently.
Yes.
That shit made me laugh, too. I'm like, of all things to leave, the fucking blah, blah, I'm not going to name the name nets, So.
I'm not sure they can knock that down. I think the inside of that tower is basically like a toxic waste.
Probably.
That might be the only good reason to bulldoze the whole thing. Like they just can't even deal with it. Can't send anybody in.
The suckers that had to work crew were so fucking happy this went away because they didn't have to get down into that tower and clean all the shit out of it, you know?
Yeah, they tried putting somebody in there in a suit, and the suit started melting. They were like, "Get him out!" Get him out.
Well, what could they use that for now? Like, what could you see up there? I mean, it's a nice view from up there.
To be quite honest with you, I hope they do something with it at this point, but I have no fucking clue what they could do with it based on the way that you get up there and exit. I don't know. I really don't know what the hell they could do with it. Hopefully what they do is they make it look better and leave it as a structure, just like a structure, but they do stuff underneath it for employees because they still have all that, you know, the ground shed under there and all that stuff. They can make that into a definite like employee lounge area and stuff like that. So,
or even if they did one of those, like, I don't know, one of those pop-up shows that has like 2 or 3 people in it that happens every couple hours. You see them at Disney and Universal all the time, but they would just be out, the stormtroopers. Occasionally they'll just be out up on a deck. You know what I mean? There's not much to it. They just come out, talk a little bit, everybody crowds around, and then they leave.
I don't think they do it here, though, because you're too high up, and they still have the stage. Right, the stage over near the mine train. So I think they would just go back to doing that if they were going to do it. You know?
They just put up some fencing, threw some picnic tables up there, and made it like overflow seating for Best of the West. I bet some people would sit up there.
Probably.
Yeah.
So here's something that they did do, as part of the log flume refurbishment, because I don't remember this last year. Finally added water blasters so you can nail motherfuckers going through the run out. So I'm like, that's kind of cool. Now, Scott and I were focusing on the price. $5 for 12 tokens.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, what do we call it? 1 blast per token. So you're not getting a ton of. What's that?
1 blast per token?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So you better be a good blaster because otherwise you're not getting your money's worth. But, look, I remember the first time I went to, I think it's Dudley Do-Right's log flume. It's in, I don't remember if it's Disney or Universal, but it's in Florida. And they had a bridge over their run out, just like we have. And the bridge had these blasters.
That was Universal.
Yeah. It was Universal, okay. And I loved it. It was the first time I ever saw it. I was still working at the park when I had done it. Yeah. And I remember I didn't even want to go on the ride. I just wanted to sit above and shoot people because we went on the ride first, and people nailed us. There were so many blasters. It was like a waterfall dropping on our head from people shooting those goddamn – because they had cannons. They weren't like little blasters. They were like cannons. Yeah. And I remember loving it. So even just putting it – I mean, granted, it's like 20 years later, but I'm like, that's a kind of a good upgrade. I like that. I'm pretty happy.
Again, another show about How to Train Your Dragon. Blasters on both sides, man. Check it out.
I know.
We'll talk about it. Blasters on both sides. So it's everybody's in it.
Gotcha. This is here, although if I'm remembering right from last fall, they're not doing it out of here anymore. Like they built this, but they're not going to run this anymore. I think this is just dead now. Like they built it last year and because they expanded the safari area. So you can actually go over there. There's food now. There's a massive gift shop now. There's like a whole bunch of stuff because you can't drive your car anymore. You have to take you have to take the little bus thingy, open window bus thingy. And from what I remember, as of this year, it's all in the safari area. This is not going to run out of here anymore. Probably makes a ton of sense on staffing for them. But now it made me laugh because I'm like, you have this really nice little queue line building here, and it's dead.
That would be good for the hayride.
It would be good for the hayride. You're right, but they don't do the hayride anymore either. So that's another thing in the past that went away.
Yep.
So this is funny.
Still there.
Yeah. Here's what cracked me up. November 21st, I got an email from GA Marketing. And it says, exciting updates for your Dream Street 50th anniversary brick. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically they say, to enhance the experience for you and the guests, we're reorganizing all the sections of the bricks. We're going to make them with greater visibility. We're going to make it easier to find your brick. We developed a digital brick finder program so you can find right where your brick is. It actually says, It'll make the process seamless and enjoyable. We're going to let you know more about it after Holiday in the Park. Okay. Never hear another thing from them. Then March 28th, not even a month ago, I get an email and it says, hey, it says Dream Street Brick Locator. That's the subject. It says, we appreciate your support, personalizing the brick. We want to let you know there's a QR code attached. There's a link in the bottom. It opens up the tool. Your brick's been moved. You can find it easily, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I click the tool. Never brings my brick up. No way to bring our brick up. Our brick just does not come up on the tool no matter what I do. So I'm like, all right, whatever. We're going to go to the park eventually. I'll go look and see. Me and Scott and Alyssa go over to that area, and sure enough, I guess that's why it didn't come up in the tool. They never moved our brick. We actually were not moved. But they did separate them where all the bricks were stacked upon each other. Yeah. They moved them so there's like 20 blank bricks in between each brick that was bought.
Just going to say, we had bricks all around us that
we don't anymore. Yeah, I like it better. I mean, I think they did a good job in what they did. But it is typical GA where they're like, your brick got moved, find it. And so for a month, I'm like, those motherfuckers,
And the whole thing about it being easier and whatnot.
Exactly. That's what actually got me mad. I'm like, you're telling me this is a seamless tool. The goddamn thing doesn't work at all, What's fucked up, though, is you would think even if my brick didn't move, right? And I keep saying mine, but obviously it's our brick. If our brick didn't move, you would think I could still find it in the tool. Like every brick should be loaded in the tool. What if I forgot where it was? What if I never went to the park last year and saw it? But no, mine never came up. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So this used to be Green Lantern. So that's all that's left.
So you need to go back before that for me, because I don't know where Green Lantern was.
So this is the end of this is the end of Boardwalk, Andy. Superman. This is the parachutes would be directly to the left of this, and employee dining would be to the left of this. This Green Lantern was right here. Superman is right here. Employee dining is over here to the left.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So Green Lantern's fully gone. It's just a big gate and empty spot. Also, Daredevil Dive that me and you loved going on together, fully gone. That's to the left. That always had its own space behind the scenes anyway, though. So, that I didn't bother posting that one.
I wonder if all the parks took them out or they just took it out there.
They took theirs out. I don't think they're all gone. I think that coaster still exists. I think it's just not with GA anymore. Oh. That's another picture, so you get a better idea because there's Superman right there.
Mm-hmm.
I did like this. So this is what you see when you exit. And it's in a lot of spots of the park now. They actually let you scan this code. And you can actually, if somebody was good, you can give them kudos. You can send them a kudo automatically through there. It opens up a thing and allows you to do it.
That's a lot better than having to stop at guest relations.
Absolutely.
Then you get
guest relations looks scary. Let me get back out. Streaming's out. Bring you guys back up. All right, so here's some of my observations, and I'll pass it off to Scott. Let you see what he thinks. So here's a couple things I noticed while we were there. There's clearly, and I have a feeling that they don't give a fuck about this because they're staffing issues. So why push people and piss them off? There is no dress or grooming code at all. The dude that was running fucking Medusa had the scrubbiest beard. He looked like he was straight out of a Western movie.
Or a prison escape
movie. But he was funny as fuck, so I didn't care, right? Their uniforms, half their shirts are untucked and hanging out. Their pants don't match their uniform. It was a little weird.
But their shirts they had to wear were much better than the Fantasy Forest stuff. It was
That's true.
Black polo with a logo.
That was only the supervisor.
Oh, was it?
Oh, yeah. So they did, and I still don't get, I know Neilio explained it, and I don't know if it's changed since his time being there, but when we went on Medusa, it was all the same uniform, which most of them looked shoddy, and then there was one dude who was in black jeans, black polo shirt, looked smooth as fuck. Of course, he has the blue supervisor tag. I don't know if that's a supervisor per ride or per section because he was working the ride. I have a feeling, but it's also spring break week, so who the hell knows? But it felt like they might have a supervisor per ride now, like the old days when they tried to do that and they got rid of it. Remember they had ride, they were sort of ride soups, but they weren't real soups. Remember that one year they did that? I think it was Adventure Rivers. We tried to do it, like tower leads or whatever the fuck they want to call it.
So they were leads.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. But I will say that dude looked snappy as fuck. I was like, God damn, that dude looks like a supervisor and no tie. No fucking tie. So I was like, look at that shit. But grooming, oh my God. Here, actually, I was shocked by this. We rode Superman. Superman, have you ever rode Superman, Andy?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know it lifts you up, right?
Right.
So when it lifts you up, you're staring at the people's in front of you's feet. 2 people in front of us didn't have shoes on. They're in socks. Why? I don't know, because it was cold as fuck out with the wind blowing like mad. I mean, I was in my full winter jacket, and I was actually a little chilly still. How the fuck you're going to ride that with socks on and not have frozen feet? I don't fucking get it.
Well, don't they make you take your shoes off if you're wearing like Crocs or something? You know, something
well,
like
that's
that.
the thing, though. We would never let you take your shoes off or let you ride shoes that were going to slip off, because if we had to evacuate you off the coaster, you got to have shoes on. They don't give a fuck anymore. You could clearly just throw your fucking shoes off. They don't care at all. And honestly, speaking from a personal perspective, the only reason I gave a fuck is that dude's feet smelled and I could smell them. So,
it was like right in front of him. It was his feet.
It was literally in my face, man. And then to make it worse, when the ride ends, they take forever to unload the train in front of you. So you're sitting out on the docking platform, still upside, still lifted up, facing the ground.
Forever.
The wind is blowing so hard that the people in the row in front of us, which are like 20-year-old kids, what are they doing? Spitting in the wind. So there's flocks of spit landing all around us. And I'm telling Scott, I'm like, I get hit with spit, I'm going to beat the shit out of these little fuckers when we get off the ride, I'm so annoyed.
I was lucky you didn't have a foot fetish. He would have been like,
oh, I would have played with them feetsies. I would have, man.
It sounds like it's worth waiting for the front row.
I was just gonna say, you should I love the front row for many reasons, also because I'm a baby and it's usually the mildest. But now forget it. Now it's just, you just cemented it. I will always wait for the front row. Forget that. It's over.
That was the one ride. It was walk on, but when you got up, there were like 3 groups in each row except the middle rows. So we were being lazy and we just went right in the middle row because we got on instantly. But we would have had to wait like for 3 groups to get a front or a back. So we didn't bother. But then once they started spitting, I was a little pissed about it. So
the worst part about Superman was, like, I told my kids stories. I told her how when we rode Batman in the mornings before the park opened, we would try to kick each other's shoes off while we were riding it. Yeah. And like while we're on Superman, my kid, I feel her foot. She's actually trying to get my sneaker off while we're on. Like, oh,
that sounds familiar.
Is that your girl? I was like, no, get away from me. I'm like, no.
Wait, here's the worst. Scott, last time we went, I was trying to kick his shoe off on Batman so fucking hard, and he was getting so annoyed with me. And this time, and I knew it was going to happen too, I'm wearing Skechers fucking slip-offs. But they're long enough that they will not fall off when you're on the ride. And immediately we're on Superman, and he's like, before we even get lifted up, he's like, oh, I can kick your fucking shoe off. I'm like, don't you fucking do it, man. Don't you fucking do it. He's all thinking this, oh, shit, he's going to get me this time,
And there's no going into the track area anymore for anything. Like, I don't think that they ever stop.
No, I have not seen that.
You'd have to wait till the end of the day, probably.
Absolutely. I have never seen a person. If your keys go down there, you're going to Uber or you're going to fucking wait. That's it, man. They don't give a fuck now.
You're like walking around one shoe on in the park.
Yeah, exactly.
Ironically, it's so fucking funny because we would do that even though we got ripped up our ass if the throughput wasn't high for the fucking hour. They don't give a fuck about throughput, but they're like, we ain't doing that. That's work. They're not doing that.
Like, that's what the lockers are for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is a key point, though. You nailed it, though. We didn't have lockers in our time, and they have a locker at every fucking ride. So if you do lose anything, you've already violated their code. You really can't complain. You shouldn't have had it.
The Flash.
Unless it's a glass eye or a leg.
Right.
Glass eye and leg, they might still go in for that. I don't know.
All right, that they might do. That they might do. Point. Scott actually had a point. They did do 2 cool things with the Flash this year. The first 3 weekends, if you had a season's pass or a membership, you were actually allowed to schedule before you even went to the park your ride and go on the ride. They did it for the first 3 weekends, no cost. So that's like a Flash pass. So that's fucking cool, but you had to have a season's pass for that. Also, when we went on, they do not allow you to bring anything on. They're one of those rides where like everything has to go in a locker, no charge. They give you a QR code automatically. You put it under, it opens the locker right away, and you're good to go.
And it's a two-sided locker, so it's like one side is the entrance, and then on the way out, the other side, the locker, you scan the card again, and it just opens up the other door.
It was kind of cool. It was actually really cool on their part.
Well thought out.
Although I did think about this later on. That card would open that particular locker, I think, at any time. I think it was dedicated, meaning I could have went back an hour later and stole somebody's shit. I could be wrong, but I think that's how it works.
I bet once you put it in the front, though, you had to scan the back to get it. So
I would hope it resets, but when I looked at it, it did have a locker number on it. So, I don't know, man. So, anyway. So my other observation is, I already pointed out, I didn't take a lot of pictures of this because if you've been there, you've already seen it anyway, and anyone listening to this that loves the park knows this. It is a concrete park. Like, I bitched about it last year because the whole area around where Buccaneer is, where they put the Joker and the Harlequin wide, is so fucking concretey and open now, but that's everywhere. Because they took 9 rides out. There's so much open space. It is insane. And when you consider all the other rides they took out over the years, it really does feel like the most empty park ever. Like, there's so much concrete that you can see for like miles, it feels like.
It'll be great if they run commercials this off season, like, oh, just imagine what we're going to do with all this open space. All these, we're not going to get a new ride this year, but just wait. We got so much space. We're going to have so much cool stuff.
It is insane. They can open up any type of ride they want now because they have enough space to put anything they can imagine in there at this point. They have so much space. It's fucking nuts. They need more flat rides. Like, I mean, they must not have a fucking park planner anymore. I mean, you have a park planner that's job is exactly the same as a city planner. Your job is to make sure that for every fucking... This was the rule that I understood when I worked in the fucking blueprint office my second to last year there. I talked to the guy who was the planner guy, and basically their rule back then was minimum of 3 flat rides per one coaster was what they were aiming for because it would up the throughput. There's no fucking flat rides anymore. Like, literally, there's like everything that we thought was gone. There's like, if you go down into 140, it's Buccaneer, which is not really all that fast of a throughput, and Roundup, which is never fucking open. Like, I walked around and like Teacups is still over near, the game square. Otherwise, there's like no fucking flat rides, man. Like, there's a bumper cars, and what other flat rides are there? I mean, am I even missing anything? I'm not counting kiddie rides because those don't count, obviously.
Right.
But
I saw, didn't they add they call it the Scrambler now, right? I think they renamed it the Scrambler.
Yeah, the Scrambler.
Yeah.
But if they can't even open what they have,
that's
putting
the
a bunch
thing.
of flat rides that are going to be closed all the time is worse.
That's the problem, though.
Yeah.
So you're nailing it. This is where I was going with that. You have no flat rides, so if I go there now, here's what happens. I can wait on a line. If I went, like Brian was saying, we went on Wednesday and we lucked out. It was walk-on. You go the very next day, Thursday, which you would think might be the same thing, but it was a nicer day, a little warmer, right? 90-minute wait for Flash. We had a walk-on. Think about it on a summer day. Any summer day, you're going to get on 3 rides. Maybe. Yeah. That's it. That's it. You're going there for the whole fucking day. You might get on 3 or 4 rides. In the old days, you might get on 3 coasters, but you got on 12 rides. They don't even have 12 rides anymore. So it's like...
But also in the old days, if you got on 3 or 4 rides, you also got to see a couple of shows. I mean, even just walking around the park was nice. You were walking in this nice environment. It was, you don't get any of that now.
It's becoming more and more almost like a very spread out amusement park where you should probably just be buying tickets for the rides you want to go on. Because
oh my God, I literally thought that. It is Burger Wildwood now. It absolutely is. I mean, at this point, just charge us per ride.
Yeah.
Flat rides now, they don't even have two people working them anymore. It's always just one person. So it's like they cut their staffing needs in half and they still can't manage.
But safety's number 1.
Exactly. Oh my God, it's terrible.
Well, it's okay because they're going to have the AI guy on every flat ride telling them if they need to stop the ride. It'll be on a control panel. So.
Yeah, Queen and I saw that. No more centrifuge. It's about time, though. It was always the Scrambler anyway. Centrifuge.
True. Yeah, let's take a break. I have not been we've been babbling, so I really haven't been looking at any of this chat stuff. Let's see what we got here. Hey, Tom Evans. Hey, Tom. We miss working with you, buddy. Yeah, that was fun. 160 was great, man. Yeah, Andy. Thank you, Brian. Queen nailed it. Green Lantern's right where Scream Machine was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right where Scream Machine was. Now it's just, nothing.
From what I hear, though, that's an improvement. You all said that the Green Lantern was pretty bad.
It was pretty rough, the Scream Machine. I'm not going to lie. The last time I rode it, I got off with the biggest headache. Just getting knocked around. But
well, I mean, literally. So I experienced this at Disney, too, though. Like, there were rides I rode that first time I went to Disney World. I rode them again 10 years later, and they beat the fuck out of me.
Dude, you're going to Disneyland.
The shit out of me.
First
time I rode it, though, I loved it. Second time I rode it, oh my God, it fucking destroyed me. And I'm like, I think that happens to all rides. His daughter, and this actually broke my heart, Andy. His daughter, we get over to the fort, and she goes, well, I don't like really riding the mine train because it beats me up. It just throws you around too much. And it does. She's totally right. And I'm like, nobody wants to ride our favorite ride anymore that's left.
Plus she's tall, so like
that's true.
Are like you're like above like 5'8". Like
it's never been made for tall people at all.
But if any of the rides you just mentioned were rough for you, this is now a public service announcement. Matterhorn, when you go to Disneyland, wow. Like if anybody who's watched The Simpsons with the Chipper, they joke they have the coaster named the Chipper. It had to be symbolic of that coaster. That is the roughest coaster. I thought I needed a chiropractor immediately after getting off that ride. It is something else. Good luck. Good luck.
Enjoy your ride.
It is brutal. It was fun. It was fun while you weren't being hurt. It was fun. But that is a rough ride. So
it's funny. Even when we rode Medusa, there's one spot in Medusa that does a twist, and I ride Medusa every year when I go. I fucking forgot, and it cracked my head against the bar so hard. Wow. And I had been sick for a week, and I had a fucking lymph node behind my ear that was swollen, and it went right on the lymph node, and my head just went. What? It fucking hurt so bad. We got off that ride, and I was like, "Fuck me." Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna shit on the Flash, but I do have to say, man, a one train ride with no throughput that took 2 years to build and is replacing 9 goddamn rides. What the fuck? I mean, that was a downer for me. That disappointed me a lot. And then this is a good and a bad. You might remember last year I bitched about the Speedy Pass because they had 5 lanes that when you're entering the parking and it says Speedy Pass lane, all on the right hand side, right? But they weren't dedicated. So the purpose of the Speedy Pass was that when you load your license plate into the app, you drive up and it automatically reads your license plate and lifts the bar, and you just go right in and park.
Unless you're from Pennsylvania, where you only have a back plate. So.
Oh, that's true too. But what happened is they didn't dedicate a single lane. Not one lane was dedicated. So every time I went, the entire 2 years I had the Speedy Pass, I got stuck behind somebody who was buying tickets for parking and took like 20 fucking minutes. So it made me so fucking mad because I'm like, I got it with my pass every year. I never upgraded. I never had to pay for it. But the fact that you're offering something that's supposed to get you speedily into the park and does not fucking do that because you're too stupid to put one dedicated lane where every one of us could have got through in literally 30 seconds and a pop just pissed me off so much. So this year, they're offering it again. It's in my app. I'm all set up. I drive up. There's no advertisement for Speedy Pass.
Wow.
What the flying fuck? So, but mind you, all the gates are empty because there was nobody there that day. So I drive right up and I go, and I show my phone and my app and I'm like, I got Speedy Pass. I don't know what the hell is going on. And the dude's like, it's a 20-year-old kid, full beard. And he's laughing. He goes, yeah, man, I don't think we advertise, but we got rid of it. We don't do that anymore. And I was like, okay. And he goes, you get the preferred parking. You're all good with your pass. So he gives me this. I throw it in my window. And the parking that I know I was not supposed to be parking in last year, but I was every time anyway because it got me right up next to the Fest house, real close.
I need a photocopy of that.
I'll get another one when I go.
All right.
Well, so this is going to bring up my second part. So I literally was right at the fucking front gate. Like, I parked right there. I was like, okay, this is nice. I mean, there were enough people there because we went late in the day. We went after work. So parking lot wasn't full. Obviously, it was a very light day. But where we parked, you would think there'd be no spots. And I was lucky. I was in the park in like a minute, right? And here's the thing I don't understand. And I'm going to play the game. And I'll do it right now. I don't know if I can just reuse this every fucking time, or if they change the color of the paper or something, but they don't take it back when you leave. So in reality, I mean, I could just do this right now, and I'm going to. I can just park. Now, the problem is, of course, when we both go again, Scott tries to use it. If they change the color paper, Scott fucked. Right? But once you get through the gate, you throw that in your thing, you should be good to go. So I don't know. It's bad and good. I'm glad they got rid of it. I'm glad I got the preferred parking, but I'm also like, there's a little flaw in here that we could take advantage of that they're probably not thinking of, unless they change the paper every day. Which, are they really going to do that? I can't see them doing that. I'd be shocked too. That's a lot of work on their part. But on the good, park was very clean. Park looked very nice, just empty. They added in a lot of, like, as always, beginning of the year, landscaping, beautiful. The flowers through around all the rides, everything absolutely gorgeous. We can't say anything about food because we didn't eat. Okay, so I no critique on food yet at all. I've saw a lot of people bitching about having problems using their food passes. I never buy the food pass anyway. We're never there long enough, so I don't really know. The ride attendants are clearly taught to promote other rides. When we were on Medusa and when we were on the Flash, they both ended their spiel. First of all, their spiels were great. That gave me nostalgia. It was like our days there. They were having fun. They were really cool. They were like, come on, man. Hey, blah, blah, blah. Like, they were clearly enjoying themselves and very good on the mic. When you came back in, they would say, hey, if you enjoyed Medusa, why don't you go on over the Nitro? Why don't you go on over the Flash? They were promoting other rides. Mostly, it seemed like they were actually trying to promote. I'm using that as an example. They were trying to promote rides near them, which was kind of cool. I thought that was cool. Yeah, Tom Fitzgerald just said print it in different colors. Yeah, Tom, we're hoping they don't do that. Okay? If they do that, screws the scam up, but they probably are. I'm hoping they're smart enough to do that, but, God knows they don't listen to our podcast, so we're not giving anything away. Enough good stuff that, like, I thought they did some good stuff. Like, at least the employees still seem happy that we saw. Well, not all of them. That's not true. There are some that were, like, supposed to be height checking. They look fucking miserable. Oh my God. They look absolutely miserable. Like, why am I here? I want to kill myself. Yeah.
I don't even know if the guy at the front checking the heights is a ride person or a security person. It looked like almost security, but we were walking up and, like, there was a supervisor, blue tag out there, and he smacked the height stick out of the other guy's hand and just started walking up. And they both started cracking up, and I was just like, what? I was like, just keep walking, Alyssa. We're good. We're good.
I mean, I'm like, that's something I would have done to you. So, I mean, Tom, I could still do log flume spiel too as well, man. That shit is ingrained in my head forever. So, what'd you think? I mean, what'd you think, negative and positive? Like that's pretty much my list.
I mean, the negative was just, there was a lot of weight to lift for the Flash, which wasn't even supposed to be new this year. It was supposed to be new last year.
Right.
When they ripped out like 8.5 other rides, counting halfway the Sky Swing, whatever crap it was. But
hold on, I'll tell you. King Ka, Green Lantern, Parachuter's Perch, the Twix Twister, which is like, it was right over there next to Green Lantern and, at the end of Game Square. It's a Twix Twister. And it was, every time I looked at the ride, I'm like, the only reason this ride is here is to promote Twix. The Twix candy bar. It had so much Twix shit all over it that I was like, I don't want to ride it. I just want to put it on a commercial. Like,
I guess
it was
Twix
like,
stopped paying for the sponsorship.
That could be it. Yeah, it was basically a souped up Buccaneer that just spun. Zumanjaro's gone. Skyride's gone. Daredevil Dive was an attraction, but it's still fun and it's gone. Cyborg Cyberspin is gone, which was, again, another souped up Buccaneer. 9 altogether.
Yeah. 9
over the last basically year and a half.
The weirdest part about the Skyride, though, was they haven't removed all the towers. They basically removed the top 1/3 of each tower.
Yeah.
So they've got all across the park. They still have like 2/3 of each white tower sitting there,
like gravestones or something.
I guess they just didn't have time to get.
Yeah, it feels like that's going to be this coming up winter, and it feels like all they aimed for was removing Dream Street and the cables. The cables are gone, so I mean, and they're without the cables. If you didn't know it was there, you probably wouldn't even know. Do you know what I mean? Like they essentially those towers don't mean anything without the cables. I don't think a regular guest that doesn't know would ever think that. So
yeah.
All right. So Tom, it does look like dead trees, but if you go by like the Jersey Turnpike, all of the power towers, they made them actually look like trees. They put like metal pieces so they look like trees, and birds can like land on them and shit. It's kind of weird. That's what they need to do. If they're not going to take them down, make them actually look like trees. That'd be really cool.
Start by painting them brown and green.
Exactly, because that's what they look like. There's a lot of times I look and I go, "What the fuck is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's a metal tree." That's what they need to do. So, what else? Anything?
I mean, it was like you said, it was super open. Like there was just a lot of space. I mean, maybe part of that was because it was so dead when we were there.
Yeah,
but there was just a ton of
there's a ton
unused space everywhere, and you got to walk forever to get to anything else. Like
it did feel that way. That's true.
Flash, and
so spread out. Yeah, it seems really spread out.
Like, oh, let's go ride Medusa. Like, oh my god, it's like a half a mile walk, like in the other direction. So
that's true. I didn't think about that, but you're totally right.
And then came back and rode Superman, and that was like another
it's another hike
of a mile. Yeah.
Yeah, there was only a ride that could take you from one side of the park to the other.
That's what they need.
It's funny. It looks like something like behind Andy right now. That's really funny. All right. So here's a perfect segue. We talked about the removal of a ton of rides. So why don't we have some fun and actually watch the removal of some rides? Yeah. Why don't we do that? So Ming, our friend, can we queue up? Well, let's go with one that's not ours, so not near and dear to our heart. But can you queue up the Kings Island Son of Beast coaster video?
I need a number, boss.
Anyone else scared at how easy that was?
Yeah,
hey, no shit.
It's pretty easy.
It's funny. I went. What was that, Andy?
I would have loved to be the one driving that backhoe.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. No shit, dude. I went on the Beast, and Son of Beast was already gone when I went on the Beast. And it's funny because my nephew was like, Son of Beast was a good ride, too. You would have liked it. And then when I found his video, I'm like, I mean, I like watching it go down just as much as I would like riding it. That was kind of fun, All right, that was the longest of these. Most of these videos are under a minute. So That was fun, right? That's poor son of beast, but rest in peace. I never rode you anyway, Here's Cedar Point's Space Spiral Ride.
Is that number 2?
That's number 2, Andy. That's the second one I sent you. I mean, Andy, I'm sorry.
4, 3, 2, 1, fire. Final! Oh my gosh.
That's perfect. Perfect. Oh, isn't that amazing? Wow.
Good job! Hey guys. Hey, tell me, what about the pucker factor? Did you feel it? Did you feel it?
Yeah. Wow.
Good job, guys. Good job. Good job. Let's go check it out. Give it all.
I love the second portion better. Like when it comes down with the dust blowing up, man. That's cool.
For a second, it looks like it's coming at the camera.
I don't even know what the fuck that ride was. I didn't even bother looking it up. All I know is it looked like the parachuter's perch to me, and I was like, it's cool watching it come down, right? Speaking of, Six Flags Over Texas had their own parachuter's perch, and they called it Shootout. So, Andy, let's go for number 3. Let's watch Shootout go down.
Did you ride the Texas Shoot this summer? That Six Flags icon unfortunately came crashing down today in a matter of seconds. It was all on purpose. The Texas Shoot at Six Flags, a staple for more than 30 years. CBS 11 meteorologist and science reporter Jeff Ray was there for the planned implosion.
Nostalgia gets a little thick in the last hour of a 40-year lifespan, even for the people in charge of the change.
It was kind of a one-of-a-kind throwback of an old Coney Island ride. And, just to see it go is really kind of sad for us.
Sad even for the man in charge of its demise.
Actually, I grew up riding the parachutes with my parents when I was a little kid.
Sad to see it go?
A little bit. It is sad, but it's okay. They'll build up something new.
Since 1976, the Texas Shootout gave a 28-second ride to thousands of park visitors. Then 14 pounds of carefully placed explosives, a countdown, and a boom.
3, 2, 1, fire.
And it gave its last ride alone, straight down. Too fast for this spectator's fingers.
By the time I'm trying to figure it out and get it, and it's done. It just went blow up fast.
It's out with the old and in with the new. A ride twice as tall will stand here by next spring. The Texas Screamer will become the new icon of the Arlington skyline. But first, 70 tons of past fun have to get out of the way. And we're out here live in Arlington, and behind me, the 70 tons of now scrap of the Texas Shootout. Doug, this is going to happen rather fast. They're going to have the new 400-foot Texas Sky Screamer ride up by next spring. Reporting live in Arlington, I'm Jeff Ray.
That might be my favorite of all the videos. That one's just really well done,
Dude, that new ride sounds crazy scary. There's no way
it's funny?
riding the Flying Wave at 400 feet.
Andy, that new ride is what we have. It's the Flying Wave. It's what we have where the Flying Wave was.
They call the Sky Screamer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
we
it's
have
not that tall.
We rode it.
I mean,
actually.
What's that?
It's that tall? It's 400
feet? Dude, you look down on the big wheel. And it's the one that you can upgrade and do the Superman seat and fly like Superman on it. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But it made me laugh because we replaced our Flying Wave with that, which is a souped-up Flying Wave. They replaced the Parachuter's Perch with that because that is our Parachuter's Perch, same fucking ride.
Yeah, but Flying Wave
literally right down to the sign. Yeah. Speaking of, and I don't know why I keep saying Andy instead of Ming. Ming, you can smack me next time I see you. Ming, speaking of, let's go to GA's Parachuter's Perch and let's watch the demise of that.
Let's play taps.
Oh, shit. Perfect. Good job, guys.
Now, here's a fucked up thing. There is a way better video that was posted on Facebook, but it's not on YouTube. I could not find it anywhere. Yeah, I couldn't find it on Facebook either, even though I know I had it somewhere. I think I posted it on our page, but I couldn't find it when I scrolled down. There is a video that's very much like, but I looked at it and I'm like, you know what? It looks like the Six Flags Over Texas video. So it's the same thing, you know? So, all right, moving on to one that a lot of people might not be happy to see. Hey, Ming, let's roll the death of King Da Ka. You know what's funny? Does that not look like a rocket about to launch and then blow the fuck up? It looks like a space shuttle launch that went bad. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like the igniter, and then you see the cloud, and then all of a sudden it goes, instead of going up, it just goes, bam.
Well, when it crashes, I got like a Lego feel. Like there's so many
it looks like the modern Connect set. You know what Connect looks like? That's what it looks like, right?
Or something. It was just like, it just broken pieces. It was kind of crazy. Yeah.
So how many years was that in service? That doesn't seem like very long.
No, it was not. I don't know exactly, but it was not. I'm sure somebody on that's, you know, over in the comments could probably answer it.
I would have said, what, like 15 years or something at most.
Rides are like disposable now.
It's kind of fast. Like I was going to say, like, I feel bad for the people that it bothers, but I could have never cared less about a premier ride going down. I don't know. I've never been on it. Didn't ever want to go on it. I don't know.
Whoa, Scotty looked it up. We're wrong. It was there for a long time.
Well, it opened in 2005, May. So
20 years.
I mean, look at it this way. It was there longer than any of our careers at Six Flags.
Sure.
So that's a long time. You know? Because I actually consider a lot of us to have been there for a long time. So,
yeah, I would have thought 15, though, because time flies. But, 20, though. That's a bit longer than I thought. Yeah.
I'm the same way with you, Peluso. I rode King Da Ka 2 or 3 times. I thought it was great. But, again, I had no nostalgia on it. And I also think that's because it's not a ride of our time. So I went on as I don't have any behind the scenes experiences with it. To me, it's just like it's kind of like if you blow up any Disney ride right now, my favorite rides in Disney are still to this day Pirates of the Caribbean in Disney World and Haunted Mansion in Disney World. However, if you told me they're never going to operate again, in my head, I'm like, I've rode each of them 1,000 times. Okay. Right. Like the nostalgia is not going to make me be like, oh no, you know, like I don't know.
See, those would kill me. Yeah, those would still kill me. But even though I love Aerosmith, you know, the fact that it's being rethemed.
I did like the Rock and Roll Coaster, dude.
I love the Rock and Roller Coaster, you know, but it's not. It wasn't. I never thought it was set in stone. You know that it would always be Aerosmith. You know, I guess
agreed.
That's probably part of it, and but still sad. But yeah, if you take my Haunted Mansion away, you'd see me crying in the corner.
Yeah. You know why I wouldn't? Because with Disney, it'll still be there in Tokyo or Disneyland. You know what I mean? Like with them, they still make sure those iconic. And first of all, let's be honest, Disneyland will never take their iconic rides away.
Right.
They take the theme rides away. They don't take the iconic rides.
I do, and then also too a newer one, still old. I'm dating myself, but don't ever change the Twilight Zone theming on Tower of Terror in Disney World. I know they did it in Disneyland. Just leave Disney World alone. Leave Twilight Zone alone. Just don't touch it. That is another one. Cry.
The next one's a little weird. It's a demo video, but it's because of a fire. So, Ming, let's run Six Flags Magic Mountain's wooden coaster, which is their version of Rolling Thunder.
Investigators in Southern California are trying to determine what caused this famous wooden roller coaster to go up in flames. Workers were dismantling the Colossus at Six Flags Magic Mountain when a fire broke out yesterday, causing a portion of that ride to collapse. The park was closed at the time. There were no injuries. The Colossus was the world's tallest and fastest roller coaster when it opened in 1978. It was retired last month, all to be revamped into a new ride.
Tallest, fastest.
That is
a lift.
Yeah, that's a nightmare to me, though. Like, imagining Rolling Thunder going because it burnt. Like, that's the problem with woody coasters. Like, I know they have fire retardant shit all over the wood and all that, but the reality of it is that shit fades if you don't put it on every year. And we all know they cut budgets.
Seaside Boardwalk burned down twice. It was heartbreaking. Yeah.
It's good to know it fades because we all ingested through our skin a lot of that fire retardant during work crew for setting up for Fright Fest every year. Those
True.
Freaking nets with the utility knife and hang everywhere. Anyway, go ahead.
I mean, you didn't. Did you die? Yeah, so there you go.
I just had to have a third arm removed that was growing out of my back.
Yeah, we got a lot of lead in us, I think. I'm with you, Scott. I don't know.
I mean, I have a third leg. It's all good, you know?
But that fire looked like it started at the top of the lift. That was always like a nice place to just kind of like go and chill. I don't know. I don't want to accuse anybody of anything, but a couple people were probably smoking up at the top of the lift, you know? What caused it? The place was closed.
I got to point out, Christian Cords, okay, who's one of the guys from Shared Universe podcast, right? So, I mean, not truly, as far as I know, like, you know, an amusement park enthusiast like us that worked there forever is like, not a fan of how these coasters are flawed. It is true. If I had not worked these damn things and I'm watching these videos, I'd be like, I'm never riding that fucking thing again.
The first video you showed, it didn't look like it took much effort to pull the whole thing down, you know? I was like, whoa, that's pretty easy. That's not good.
However, following up on that, so Andy, I hope you got my package I sent you last week because I sent you a case of tissues from Amazon. All right, I ordered it specially for you. Get a box out because we're going to run our last video. And this was, I didn't even know this was out there. And when I found it, I was like, oh, this really fucking hurts, man. Ming, my friend, let's run the destruction of Rolling Thunder. I'm not gonna lie.
That's
I hate
not Rolling Thunder.
That was Rolling Thunder, dude, and I hate that fucking laugh he has at the end.
Single track roller coaster.
What's that?
That was a single track roller coaster.
Oh, I don't know. It's listed as Rolling Thunder from Great Adventure, dude. I you know what? I never paid attention to the track count. Was it two? Was it one instead of two?
I didn't even recognize anything behind it. There's some big billboard and a road running behind it. There was no highway or anything running like that there. That's not it.
I'll double check, but let me tell you, I kind of want that to be Rolling Thunder. You know why? It's the only one that thought it. They kept trying to pull it down. It was like, fuck you. Fuck you. I'm like, no. That chick fought it for a while, and then finally it was like, all right. So I'll double check it, man. But yeah, I mean, that's listed as the Rolling Thunder, and there's 2 different sites that have it on there. So I'll double check it, though. But
I call fake news.
I can tell you this, though, Andy. I've been to the park. It's not there anymore.
I mean, it looked pretty silly sitting next to El Toro, though. It was still there.
It's true.
It was like the kiddie coaster.
It's true.
But it literally looked like they didn't get an outside company or an engineer or anything. They got like a couple of the ride mechanics and
Oh yeah. They all feel like that.
Take it down.
The ones with the explosions, they all feel like the mechanics just threw a fucking Batman grappling hook up and pulled the motherfucker down,
Yeah.
Like, no, look it up. I can do that.
Exactly. Well, following on fake news, let's jump into a little bit of news, okay? So first of all, on the invite, we had posted we were going to talk about some lawsuits. I'm not. I mean, I had a bunch of lawsuit information, but you know what? This has been fun. We haven't done this in a while. I don't want to talk about shit that's going to really bring us down. So I will leave it at this, though. I am amazed at how many lawsuits are out there, including ones against King Ka for people with traumatic brain injury because of exactly what we were talking about. Rides over the years get rougher, and you start banging your fucking head side to side. They don't put a lot of padding in there. So there's a shitload of lawsuits out there. I found 6 of them.
Traumatic brain injury?
Traumatic brain injury. And well, here's the thing. There's a couple of the parks that actually had people that within a couple of years died.
Huh.
So I'm like, holy fucking shit. That was kind of crazy. Look at Pete Loudon trying to talk shit. Hey, Pete. I didn't double check it, all right? I didn't do forensics on the video. It's all posted online. You can look it up yourself. It says Rolling Thunder Demo, okay?
You're killing our credibility, man.
It's not even your fucking time. You weren't even there. You were still in your mom's like fucking womb when this happened. So shut up.
Hicks, the 4 people that listen to this show, you just crushed our credibility.
You're right, Pete.
We're ruined.
Steve just alienated 25% of our audience there.
You know what? I'm still with Andy. West is best. Fuck you all right? Oh, shit. All right, let's get to a little bit of here news. First of all, if you do go to Great Adventure and you do go to the safari, they have an adorable fucking brand new baby giraffe born on December 15th. You will see it because when you first go to safari, that's where the giraffes all are, named Coral, daughter of Mariah and Conan, both residents of the wild safari. So I always like hearing that our safari is still such a great thing that people do not talk about enough. People talk about the park and they shit on the rides and how the rides are not as good and blah, 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 blah. But the safari is honestly never wavered to me. Like I can go there with my lady and we go into safari and we love it. We just have such a good time. So I'm happy the safari is still thriving and they're still having babies in the park and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's kind of cool. Let's see. Peluso, didn't you go to school to be a chef?
For a little, that's the first school I went to for a year. Yes, I went to culinary school.
And you worked in foods a lot, right?
I was catering special events, and I was employee dining.
How in the fuck did this happen? And you weren't an obvious choice. Major change at Six Flags Great Adventure, announced about 2 months ago. For the first time in park history, Six Flags Great Adventure now has an executive chef. A park representative said there's a commitment to elevate the dining experience for all guests. Jeremy Hacker is the one who was hired as a Six Flags Great Adventure's very first executive chef. The one good thing that I love is that Jeremy is a Jersey guy, residing in Elk Township with his wife and 3 children. His creative skills in the kitchen, especially with Italian cuisine and seafood, have landed him at the popular places such as Xfinity Live and PJ Wilhelmans. I don't even know what the fuck that is. What is that? What is that?
It's like a chain restaurant.
Is it like Dave and Buster's or something?
Not that.
Or
big.
more like
More like
okay.
a Fridays.
All right, I gotcha. And then among others, and he was serving up innovative and high quality dishes. Hacker will lead the Six Flags Great Adventure culinary team to begin to offer exciting dining options. As for Hacker, I'm excited to bring a fresh, dynamic approach to dining at Six Flags, whether it's introducing new offerings or elevating classic dishes. My goal is to offer guests a memorable dining experience that matches the thrill of the park. One thing Chief Hacker is excited about doing this year is reinventing the menu at Savannah Sunset.
And everywhere else, hopefully. He's talking about such a low bar. Like,
however, hold on. Last fall, we talked about the menu at Savannah Sunset for people who actually were there, and I'm kind of amazed at that comment because that was the only thing that ever made me want to eat at the park. Everything about Savannah Sunset sounded fucking amazing. And most people were getting comped because they didn't have all the rooms and shit ready at time. So you were getting this fucking great food for like nothing.
Well,
so
they're probably like ordering it out though and bringing it.
No, they actually had a kitchen there, but they didn't have a spot yet with a bar and everything you could sit at. But they would deliver it to your little room. Your little tent, your luxury tent, but your glamming tent. But here's the thing, and I'm just being honest. I'm not shitting on this guy at all. They needed to do this. My opinion of Six Flags, when I think of food there, I think of when we had employee outings and they would send us into the field and there would be like 20 foods guys cooking on those fucking grills that had been there for 100 years. And they were fucking just giving us burgers and franks. Yeah. And we'd have some salads, coleslaw, whatever. And that's it. When I think of the park, I never think of them as I have never in my life thought about I'm going there for good food. Right. Ever. Not as a kid, not as an adult, not as an employee. I've never thought about going to that park for food. When I go to other parks, some of them have special food. Yeah. They have special snacks, special dining areas.
Yeah, food is one of the biggest draws to Disney World, Universal.
Bingo, that's my point.
It's like one of the biggest draws, almost as much as the rides. Yeah.
Yeah. Their food at Universal and Disney, it's like, it may not be like, fine gourmet, but it's definitely like way above anything I've ever had.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They know they're charging a lot, so they try to do something special, fun, not the ordinary. They'll have the ordinary, because people still want chicken fingers and whatnot. But they try to do a little extra.
Tom Fitzgerald just posted employee dining folks for a special breed. You know what's funny, Tom? I don't know if you're joking or not, but I will actually say I do remember my last few years there working there. They always try to have a special that was something that was different that you couldn't get out in the park that was actually exclusive to them. Wasn't always my thing, but the specials, there was always 2 a day if I remember right, and they usually were something that were different. And I appreciated it. I thought it was great. When I go out in the park, the only place I've ever wanted to eat at that place is back when I ate meat, because I've been a vegetarian for 6 years now, Best of the West. Best of the West, I can go there and eat chicken or ribs or whatever, and I liked it. It was decent. It was fine. Outside of that, everything else tasted exactly like the same shit they gave us when we were out, the Fun Olympics, and they were cooking all the, the burgers and shit.
Granny's could make some decent fried chicken if you got a good batch, and it's unusual to have full bird fried chicken. A lot of times it's just chicken nuggets, chicken tenders, and whatnot. So I'm actually amazed. I think they're still doing that too, which is surprising. I thought they would have cut that, but they're still doing it. Now that there's an executive chef, speaking of Best of the West, he may be able to cut that pretzel time down to half, maybe. So maybe only like 30 minutes. Maybe only 30 minutes to cook a frozen pretzel. I don't understand. I cook them frozen at home in a toaster oven in like under 10 minutes. I think it was a good solid 50 to 60 minutes for a pretzel.
30 seconds.
I don't know what happened there, but now they have an executive chef. He's going to cut it in half. So.
That shit was pretty funny. I still remember that, man. I can't wait till we all go again.
And we were VIPs on top of it. At least most of us were. Maybe that's why they made us wait.
Very true. Very true. We're not going to go into detail here, but Epic Universe opens next month. It's been open for about, a month or 2 months now for locals and private people and all that. Everything that's coming out of it, though, I follow a bunch of groups. Fucking sounds amazing. That could be an episode itself, so we're not going to go into detail. But if you're fans of Epic Universe, the park that's coming up sounds pretty goddamn cool. Feeding off of Epic Universe, I will also say the one thing that has me excited too is that Universal did announce that they are going to be open their Horror Unleashed in Vegas. And if you guys aren't aware of what that is, I'm going to put my glasses on because it says the most tiny fine print in the world. So it is coming August of this year. Horror Unleashed is get ready to experience the nightmare in a year-round, fully immersive, high-quality horror spectacle that brings your greatest fears to life. Enter the evils of 4 haunted houses with their own terrifying stories. Universal Monsters, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Scarecrow the Reaping, and Blumhouse's The Exorcist Believer. Surrounding the haunted houses are 4 fully themed immersive entertainment areas, each with its own unique live horror experiences, plus decadent food and drink offerings in select areas. Your deepest fears are closer than you think. You can actually buy tickets already, even though it doesn't open until August. And here's another thing I love about it, because it's fucking Vegas. Universal Horrors Unleashed tickets are date and time specific, not recommended ever for children under the age of 13. And I love that they say that. They also point out that rideshare is strongly encouraged because we have almost no parking and there's no valet parking whatsoever.
I mean,
and
Vegas, so they can just Uber or whatever.
Pretty much, yeah. And they say that they're located at Area 15, which also restricts access to minors.
I was just there.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. They're pointing that out because they're saying that at certain times, Area 15 does not allow minors at all and has an active chaperone policy.
Like a Mega Mart is a big part of Area 15. The biggest thing they have until Horror Nights probably opens up. And that's for everybody and definitely stupid fun. It's a tourist trap, but I thought it was great. It was a lot of fun.
It was, whatchamacallit, like, what was it? The name of it?
A Mega Mart? It's like an aliens take over a supermarket.
That's where we went to see that too in December.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's stupid, but so much fun. Yeah. So yeah, I'm dying to check out the Horror Nights there because I'm hoping, not that they don't do an amazing job on Horror Nights in Universal, but to have a permanent facility for a house, I would think that would up everything will be elevated. I'm thinking
that's why I'm excited, because this is essentially what they're doing. They're making Horror Nights 24/7, but in an adult atmosphere.
Right.
And I'm like, and also because it's Vegas, you know that when they're saying decadent food, they're not lying. The food's going to be good.
No, the food there actually, we didn't do a lot of eating there, but they have really kick-ass bars and restaurants. My new thing is nothing is more expensive than Vegas. Vegas used to be the joke where you go and get a $5 steak and you get a lobster.
Oh, yeah, that ain't there anymore.
That's over. It beats Disney. It beats a baseball game, a football game. You name it, it beats it. It is the most expensive, but they do, for the most part, everything is fantastic. You get I don't know if you get what you paid for, but you are getting something that's an experience and very cool.
Yeah.
And good
Area
quality.
15, they had a big bar right in the middle. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah. I'm excited, man. I mean, that
restaurant looked great too. I don't know if you went, Scotty, but that it was like a bar and grill steakhouse type of thing, and a lot of theme stuff in there as well. It looked great, but we had dinner reservations already. So no, very cool stuff.
All right. Well, boys, I think we're about at our time. We're actually going to do something rare. We're not going to go over. We're going to end on time for once.
Hey, look at
that. I mean, I always like to push the envelope, but I'm going to not do it because I know Ming's a busy man. So insanely good to catch up with you guys. Honestly, if it wasn't for you 3 motherfuckers, this podcast wouldn't exist. I mean, it's the reason why we keep going. So, and if it wasn't for all these MFers that are commenting and listening to us, thanks to all of you guys. I mean, we absolutely appreciate everyone. As anyone has realized, we do not promote our podcast. It is literally 4 old men who worked at a park that like to talk about it. I mean, we don't make any effort to promote or push or anything. So anyone that is still has any interest in the babble that we have is like, really kudos to you. We appreciate it. Except you, Pete. Screw you, Pete. I know what the coaster looks like. Oh, man. All right.
Hey, we have a minute. Play that video again.
Yeah. God damn it. Signing off for now. I am Steve Hicks, and my co-hosts are
Scott Loudon,
Chris Peluso,
Andy Auletti.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Make it a great day. We will see you all and talk to you all soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.